Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inkwell Remix. My name is John, and today, to celebrate the release of Winterspell, we are going on an alliterative adventure looking at one of the brand new decks that's just been released. So, hold on to your hats, beware of the terror that flaps in the night, and join me as we go on a deck deep dive of Darkwing Duck. Okay, then, everyone, here we are over on Dreamborn Inc., which thankfully has all of the Winterspell cards uploaded now. So let's dive straight in with some of the new decks. Now, I've not actually examined any of the new decks in detail before, so we're going to be doing this together, and I may well make some horrendous mistakes, but we'll learn together, and hopefully I won't make them twice. So, starting off with Darkwing Duck, our biggest chunk of new cards at 29. Now, I don't really know anything about Darkwing Duck. I've not watched the movies, and I don't really know what the cards are aimed at. I think there's a sort of there's an item sub theme, and maybe a little bit of detectives. So we're going to have to look at these cards pretty carefully and see what we're doing. But let's take a quick whiz through. First, have a look at colours. We've got amethyst, just a little bit of emerald, a bit of ruby, lots of sapphire, and a big chunk of steel as well. Okay, that's going to be interesting. So remember, when I'm building movie decks, I always start by building them in 3 colors with Lorcana specific cards allowed. Okay, then, everyone, here we are over on Dreamborn Inc., which thankfully has all of the Winterspell cards uploaded now. So let's dive straight in with some of the new decks. Now, I've not actually examined any of the new decks in detail before, so we're going to be doing this together, and I may well make some horrendous mistakes, but we'll learn together, and hopefully I won't make them twice. So, starting off with Darkwing Duck, our biggest chunk of new cards at 29. Now, I don't really know anything about Darkwing Duck. I've not watched the movies, and I don't really know what the cards are aimed at. I think there's a sort of there's an item sub theme, and maybe a little bit of detectives. So we're going to have to look at these cards pretty carefully and see what we're doing. But let's take a quick whiz through. First, have a look at colours. We've got amethyst, just a little bit of emerald, a bit of ruby, lots of sapphire, and a big chunk of steel as well. Okay, that's going to be interesting. So remember, when I'm building movie decks, I always start by building them in 3 colors with Lorcana specific cards allowed. What about the ruby? 5-3 for 3. Not terrible, I guess. It's good power, but pretty vanilla. That's not really getting me terribly excited. We've got an enchanted version of Negaduck, so there's actually only 4 cards. We've got Negaduck Public Enemy number 1. He sounds like a villain. 6-5, shift 3. Whenever this character challenges another character, depending losing one law, you gain one law. Oh, that's quite good. Yeah, that is definitely good, assuming there's a decent shift target for it. But I like the draining law, gaining law. That's really good. So you can challenge with that big 6-5 body and still gain law. Okay, he's pretty good. He might be able to change my mind. Oh, and a 2-drop Negaduck. Perfect for the shift 3. And a 4-2 for 2 inkable. I'd prefer a 3-3, but a 4-2's not bad, and it's inkable, and let's be honest, we really want him just for shifting in Public Enemy number 1. So that's a solid card. We can play that. And Liquidator. Oh, this is the underdog one. Okay, so a 4-2 for 1. That's pretty good. That's going to put a big cramp on your opponent's first couple of turns. Reckless, yeah, whatever you want to challenge with this guy. Okay, so only 4 ruby cards, but actually those look pretty good. I think we might have found our 4th colour, maybe even our 3rd. Well, let's go back to the top and start with the amethyst. So we have got Isis Vanderchill. 4-4 for 4. When you play this character, exert chosen opposing character. I'm not sure that's worth being 4 uninkable. I'd play it for 4 inkable, fine, but uninkable, maybe. I'm not certain about that one. Morgana. Morgana Macabre? I assume that's what it is. And another vanilla 5/3 for 3. Okay, that's fine. Villain, sorcerer, some nice characteristics, but I don't know if that's going to make much difference to the build. Oh, there we go. Darkwing, Dark Wolf Dog. Okay, that sounds like fun. 2/4 with rush for 3. That's pretty solid. Yeah, I think we could play him. He looks decent. So let's have 4 copies of Macabre, 4 copies of Dark Wolf Dog. That's going to be hard to say. And this is why we play the Little Macabre for a 6/6 with shift 4. Nice. When you play this character, you may choose another character and move one down. Oh, wow. From each other character to the chosen character. Oh, that is nice. Okay, yep, we are definitely playing Macabre. Oh, and she's a hero and a villain, just like Scrooge. That's cool. Okay, so I'm liking these first 3. A bit expensive, but I am liking them. Space Cows. I have no idea what this is all about. Maybe if I watched some actual Darkwing Duck, this would make more sense to me. As it is, do I want to pummel my opponent with Space Cows? Well, yes, I absolutely do. Pretty vanilla, but a really big body like that and that much lore is hard to argue with. I would have to consider that pretty carefully. So yeah, I think let's put that in for now at least. Might take it out later, but I like it for the moment. Those 2 emerald cards, again, I like, but I'm not certain yet. The ruby cards, potentially very good. Let's come back to those later. Oh, a 1-drop. Desperately needed 1-drop. Honker Muddlefoot, Timid Genius. Your character's name Darkwing Duck Game Resist 1. Okay, yep, that's absolutely playable. I'm assuming we'll have a fair few Darkwing Ducks. 1/2 for 1 isn't amazing, but at least the ability is passive. As long as you've got one of these in play, your Darkwing Ducks will always have Resist 1. So you can just pop one on the board and just leave it ready. Okay, I like that. I always want to have a 1-drop anyway. And here we go. Here's a Darkwing Duck. 4/1, but significantly better if he's got that Resist 1. And Ward as well. Yeah. This seems very solid. He's going to hit really hard too, and might even be able to survive something if you've got enough copies of Honker out. Okay, then Goslin Mallard, 1/3. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal an item card, put it into your hand, put the rest in the bottom in any order. So she's basically Scuttle, but 1 more ink and 1 more lore. Probably good. I haven't come across any items yet, apart from the dinosaur retro thingamabob, but I imagine that will be quite good. Let's put 4 of her in for now. Ah, another Darkwing Duck. Dashing Get. Yes, this is the one I've seen before. So whenever this character question, you put an item card from your discard on the bottom of your deck. If you do, play an item with cost 5 or less from your discard for free. Okay, so that's very good. Assuming we get enough items. Otherwise, he's going to be an uninkable 3/5 for 4. That wouldn't be very good, but I'm going to assume we've got the items, and 3 is always the best cost to pay for cards. Okay, Splatter Phoenix. 2 cost. That will fit well in our curve right now. 2 lore is nice. 1/2's a little bit under. Oh, but he's another underdog. Okay. So if this guy comes in as a 1-drop, yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, I wonder if it's worth playing the Ruby, and then you can have 2 underdog cards. Then you really wouldn't mind going second. I'll have to have a look at that in a minute. But yeah, I think we can pop 4 of him in for now. Inkable as well, so we don't have to worry too much. Okay, now we're getting in some items. We've got Blue Smoke. I'm sure that means something if you've watched the movie or the TV show or whatever it is. If you have a character named Darkwing Duck, it becomes free. Okay, we like free. Banish, gain ward until start for next turn. Not bad. I mean, if you can play it for free and give ward, that's pretty good. I don't like the fact it's uninkable. But this is Darkwing Duck. We need items. So let's put it in for now, and we can always cut it later. Darkwing's Chair Set, another uninkable item. When you play this item, top card of your deck into your ink roll face down. Okay, Mana Accelerate. Ooh, mana? I'm not playing Magic anymore. Ink Acceleration. Yeah, that's pretty good. We like that. Banish this item, move 2 damage from a character, take up to 4 damage from Darkwing Duck. Okay, again, not bad. And I guess if you can banish it whenever you want to, get it in your discard so you can play some of those item effects. Guess that makes the blue smoke better as well. Okay, so again, we'll put it in for now, but it is uninkable, so I'm not convinced about that. Have to come back to that. Darkwing's gas device, an inkable item now. That's a bit better. Exert, pay 1. Chosen character's -1 power this turn. If you have a character named Darkwing, Dark -2 power. And reusable. Okay, so it's not quite as good as Sapphire Coil, which you could also play if you're allowing Lorcana specific cards, and you probably should, but not bad. Okay, so pop that in as well. And then we want to steal. Ah, Launchpad, my old friend. Now, I've never watched any Darkwing Duck, but I have watched some of the DuckTales, so I know a bit about Launchpad. Your locations gain resist +1. Okay, that's going to be good in the right deck, but I don't think there's any. Let me just check. Any locations at all in Darkwing Duck? There's one. Let's have a look. There we go. So, Darkwing Tower. During your turn, whenever an opposing villain character is banished, you may ready a character here. If you do, they can't quest for the rest of the turn. Okay, that's not terrible, but 8 toughness already. I don't think we're going to need Launchpad for that. Okay, so we might play Darkwing Tower. I mean, the potential to gain a lot of challenges in is pretty good, but I don't think we're going to worry about Launchpad for now because we've already got 3 inkable 3-drops. I don't think Launchpad's going to add enough. Okay, a 1-drop Darkwing Duck. That's about as vanilla as you get. But we remember just how good the vanilla Robin Hood was back when we had Champion of Sherwood shifting on turn 3. So I think he definitely gets played. And of course, he activates a lot of the items, so we like him. What about this version of Launchpad? Trusty Sidekick. 2/3 is a good stat line. Certainly don't mind playing a 2/3 for 2. Uninkable's a bit painful, but what's the ability? Draw a card, then choose and discard a card, unless you have a character named Darkwing Duck in play. Okay, yeah, he's worth playing, because as long as you've got Darkwing Duck, and we should have plenty of him, that's exert to draw a card. And on a 2-drop, that's very good. And if you need to rummage through your hand as well, that's not a bad thing. Dump some items in your discard, get other things going. Yeah, I think we definitely want 4 of him. Wish he wasn't uninkable, though. Darkwing Duck again, 4/5, Challenger 2, okay, hits for 6, that's nice, 2 lore. Whenever an item is banished, this character gains resist 1. Oh, so you can, if you've got him in play, you can use blue smoke for free, banish the blue smoke for 1, and then he'll be a 6/5 with resist 1 and ward. Oh my. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that card. We'd better put him in the deck. Okay, that's hit 60. How many more have we got to go? We've got another 6 more cards to look at. Okay, so we're nearly there. Ooh, a legendary Darkwing Duck. Cool under pressure. Shift 5 for a 6/8. During a turn, whenever an item is banished, pay 1 to deal 2 damage. Very nice. And can challenge readied villain characters. Okay, yeah, he is definitely getting played. Absolutely. And what? The terror that flaps in the night. Okay, I'm sure that. I don't know what to say. I'm just going to carry on. Right, so Scary Scary Duck deals 2 damage to chosen opposing character, 3 damage if you have Darkwing Duck. Okay, removal. We like removal. I'm never going to say no to some removal, and it's inkable. Going to rely on Darkwing a lot, but I think that's okay. Let's get. Oh, okay, we get the enchanted version just cause. So each player shuffles their deck, reveals the top card. If you reveal a character, play it for free. Oh my. Oh my, indeed. Okay, it's a song, so that's something. That's probably incredibly good in the right constructed deck. Someone's going to break this card. But I don't think it's gonna work in this movie deck. Movie decks tend to be very character heavy, I found, because they're just the most reliable cards, and it's hard to get combo pieces for a serious item deck, for example, into just one movie. And Darkwing Duck doesn't have that many big characters. We got the legendary, of course, but that's not a good hit rate. So I don't think we're going to want to play Let's Get Dangerous. It just seemed much too risky to me. Maybe I'll change my mind later on, but for now, we don't need the cards. I'm going to ignore it. Infra Pink Ultra Scan Specs. Okay. Item 1, Inkable. That's good. When you play this item, draw and then choose discard. That's fine. Not as good as Porpsicolor, for example, but still relevant. Okay. Banished item turns count against alert. Okay. Not bad. One to play, free to banish. Once it's banished, it's in your discard, and we've got some discard synergies. Okay, yeah, I think that is definitely playable. Let's pop those in. And look at these last couple of cards. The Thunderquack. Another item. Nice. All opposing characters gain... Oh, so everything's a villain, which means the Darkwing Duck guy can challenge all readied characters because they're all villains. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's looking pretty good. And if a character was banished in a challenge this turn, gain 1 lore. Nice. Yes, that's definitely playable. Let's slap all 4 in there for now. And then we get to the location. We've seen this before. Darkwing Tower. Oh, so that's the curve, isn't it? So you want to play a Darkwing Duck turn 1 or 2. You play the Thunderquack turn 3, so all your opponent's characters are villains. Play this turn 4, and then shift in the big Darkwing Duck on turn 5. That's not bad. I guess maybe you want to wait for Darkwing Duck till turn 6 so you can shift him and then immediately put him here in the tower, and then you can just go to town. Because whenever a character is banished, so you could have Darkwing challenge a character, if it's a villain because of Thunderquack, ready him up, challenge another one, ready him up, challenge another one. You could wipe a board with that combo. Okay, that's definitely worth looking at. I mean, it's a massive... To get 4 cards in the right order is a big ask, but I still like it. Okay, so at the moment we've got 80 cards, so we're going to have to drop at least 5 cards, and that's before, and because I think I am going to do this because I wouldn't normally go straight to the Lorcana specific cards, but we like items, and Lorcana specific has got some absolute bombs. So Amethyst, Sapphire, Steel. Now, let's go to Darkwing Duck just for a second. So, we've got the Mystical Inkcast. That one's new. Pay 3, exert 5 less. Oh, it's the whole Madam Mim thing, but on a stick. It's 5 or less. No, you can't use that on the big Darkwing because he just costs 7. Okay, I don't think that's going to be relevant. We've got a couple of new locations that might be good, but we're sticking on items here. So items, we've got the option of Amethyst Chromacon. Item, both players draw cards. I'm not necessarily a fan of symmetrical card draw if I can avoid it, but if we need a critical mass of items, it's playable. So I'll stick 1 in there just to remind us that it's there. No one plays the half Hexwell Crown Ravensburger. I'm sorry, they just don't. Ink Runner, on the other hand, is pretty good. If we ever get to see it come up. No, oh, there we are. Okay, so Ink Runner, we probably know this one already. When you play this item, draw a card, and then give character an alert till end of turn. We've got something like that already, haven't we? One of the Darkwing Duck cards did... which one was... Oh, the Infra Pink Ultra Specs. Did something similar, but that'll only work once, whereas the Ink Runner will work every turn and outright draws you a card. So Ink Runner's possibly a straight upgrade on the specs, but without that easy way of getting into the discard. So we'll just put 1 Ink Runner in for now to remind ourselves. And then the ones I was really looking for, Sapphire Coil, of course. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, you may give chosen character -2. So that's like Darkwing's Gas Device, arguably better because it's 1 ink cheaper and does the -2 every time and will work at least once a turn as long as you ink. So definitely think that's worth having. Sail the Azurite Sea if we want it, but I don't think this deck necessarily needs it. We could play Launch, potentially. I'll pop a copy in. Just the ability to turn your items into a lot of damage might be quite useful. I don't know if I'd play it, a lot of it, because we like the actions, but they're not bad. Oh, and then finally, the one I came here for, let's be honest, our old friend Fortisphere. Once again, we're not loading. Let's give it a second. There we go. When you play this item, draw a card for 1, and then 1 banish it. Chosen character of yours gains bodyguard until the start of the next turn. It's not terrible. It's a way of getting the item in your discard. I imagine that bodyguard ability could be quite handy sometimes, but mostly you pay 1 ink, you draw a card, and you get an item. It's just very, very good. So I'll pop one of those in there as well. And now we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 different items we can choose from. Okay, I think we are looking pretty good for cards right now. Okay, so let's save this now in its very unrefined form. So Darkwing Duck movie deck. Save that. And then if we go looking at it from my decks, maybe we can get the bigger view up. So my decks, Darkwing Duck. If you were looking very carefully there, you got a glimpse at some of my other projects. I've got a few in the works that I'll share in later videos. Okay, deck is spiking massively at 3 ink right now, and at 1 and 2 as well. So we're definitely heavy early on. We're going to need to trim that down a bit. Then the 4s, the 5s, 6s, and 7s all look relatively light. That seems reasonable now. Can I edit this without going back to the... No, I can't. Okay, so can I get that to go away somehow? Maybe? That would be great if only I could get this to be larger. Okay, well, I'm afraid I can't get this to be larger, so we're just going to have to ignore all the cards on the left and pay attention to what we've got on the right. Let's go back to that ink curve. So lots of 1s, lots of 2s, lots of 3s. I generally think you want about 8 1-drops normally, because that's enough. 8 to 9 is enough to... Mathematically, it means you should hit 1 every 7 cards or so. If you have 9 1-drops, then you should hit 1 in every 7 cards, which means that by the time you've mulliganed, you're almost certain to have a 1-drop. So I would say 8 to 9 1-drops, probably 10 to 12 2-drops, and somewhere between about 12 and 16 3-drops normally. So we're looking a little bit high right now. Characters first. 52 characters is quite a lot, but not a huge amount in my mind. So we've got Honker, so he makes Darkwing Duck better. Well, we definitely want to play Darkwing Duck 1-drop, and I think we want to play Darkwing Duck 2-drop. This is also Darkwing Duck, interestingly. So, yep, he is a Darkwing Duck, so he gets the resist from Honker. And we like Rush, so that's 12, 16, 20, 24 Darkwing Ducks. Okay, so assuming we want to keep all of those, and I think we probably do, we want to keep Honker. So Honker's in, Darkwing Duck is in, Darkwing Duck is in. Splatter Phoenix. Oh yes, he's the underdog. I like him. I don't necessarily know if you'd play all 4, but awarded 2 lore isn't bad. I guess it's not terribly good either. Let's play 2 of him. Because that way, if he's a 1-drop, he brings us up to 10 1-drops, which I like. And if he's a 2-drop, then he's one of our currently 10 2-drops as well, which isn't too bad. Okay, Launchpad Trust. Yes, we want Launchpad. Drawing cards is just the best thing you can do, full stop, pretty much ever. So we like that. Darkwing Duck we looked at already. Dark Wolf. Darkwing Duck, Dark Wolf Dog. My goodness, if I have to say that 5 times fast, I'm going to have a terrible time of this. So I won't bother. Okay, we like him. I think he's worth playing. Oh yeah, Morgana. She was a vanilla character, but we wanted her to be able to shift this one, and that Morgana is very good. Yeah, moving damage from all other characters that heals your characters and kills off an opponent. Yeah, she's brilliant. So we need to play the smaller one just in case. Goslin. Top card, look for an item put in your hand. I think we have to play her. She seems really solid to me. So that's 12 3-drops, which sounds about right. Just the 1 4-drop. Oh, yes, 3 5. So he's put an item back, then play a free one. Maybe. I mean, all of our items are 5 or less. So he puts an item back and then lets you play another one for free. That could certainly be good. Let's leave him in for now. I'm just not certain we'll stick with all 5, all 4 copies. Although, given his price, people are definitely happy about him. Okay, this guy, yep, he's very solid. I'd say a 6/5 on the challenge is very good. 2 law if you're nothing to challenge, and you can give him resist. Very good. We like that. Morgana, absolutely. We're keeping her. As we said earlier, really powerful ability. Space Cows, I really like the Space Cows, but right now I don't think so, because at a 7-drop, we've also got Darkwing Duck. He's got the same stats, 1 less law, but my goodness, those abilities are seriously good. So, sorry, Space Cows. Why don't you go back to your own planet? And we'll see what that's given us. So 46 characters now. I think we're still going to have to cut that down a bit, but it's better. Okay, so actions. We've got the terror that flaps in the night. Yeah, that's really playable. I think that every deck, if they can, needs to bring some sort of removal along. We've got a little bit with Darkwing getting fire the cannons effectively whenever you banish an item, so that's something, but this is a lot cheaper, playable in its own right. So yeah, we're going to play the terror that flaps in the night, and I don't think we're going to have room for launch. So let's drop launch again. How are we doing now? That gets us to 79 cards. Oh, we're doing so much better. Oh, and 16 uninkables. Okay, so I need to make sure we lose a bit more on the unink. There's 8 in the characters. That's fine for now. Let's see where the rest of them are. And then we get to the items, which is where things are doing. Okay, Darkwing Tower. Oh, I like it for the combo I mentioned earlier. If we can get the Darkwing Duck in with the Thunderquack so everything's a villain, then Darkwing could just take out an entire board by himself. That's really good. But it's a really nasty combo to try and put together. And I mean, it's not Dark Mana. It's not 9 defense and 2 law. If it had 2 law, I think I'd play it. But as it is, we need to cut cards. I'm going to cut it for now. I might regret that. I might come back to it later, but I don't think so. Right then, blue smoke. Okay, free to play if we've got Darkwing Duck. 24 Darkwing Ducks, so we're probably going to have one. Makes it free. I like that. Banish it. Gains ward till start from next turn, and we do have things that trigger off the banishment, don't we? We've got Cool Under Pressure, who gets damage when things are banished. When I like banish, he gains resist. And he, of course, could put this back on the bottom of our deck or play it out for free. Okay, I think we need blue smoke. I don't like going up to 12 uninkables, but I think we have to. Right then, Fortisphere. We know Fortisphere. We love Fortisphere. In for pink ultra scan specs. So, let's go and banish it for alert. They're just not. It's just not as good as Ink Runner. Think if we play Fortisphere and Ink Runner, we get better card draw out of Fortisphere and a banishable effect. And then out of Ink Runner, we also get better card draw, and we get to keep using the alert. Yeah, I think we're going to drop the scan specs for sure and go up to 4 copies of Ink Runner. Because Ink Runner does everything the scan specs does, but honestly better. Yes, we can't necessarily dump it into the discard by itself, but I figure we can probably find ways of doing that. Amethyst Chromacon, I don't think we need it. We've got the Ink Runner that draws a card. We've potentially got Fortisphere to draw a card. We've got, where was he? Launchpad can draw a card. Yeah, I don't think we need the Chromacon. And giving our opponents cards, not something we want to do. We want card advantage, not card parity. Okay, Sapphire Coil. Directly comparable to Darkwing's gas device, except that it's 1 ink cheaper, doesn't cost you for doing the ink effect, and always does the -2, whereas Darkwing only does the -1. Unless you've got a Darkwing, you only get -1. So Sapphire Coil is a straight upgrade on Darkwing's gas device. Less characterful, I agree, but better. So since I'm trying to make this a decent deck, let's do it. Let's play Sapphire Coil. Okay, Darkwing's chair set. Oh yeah, so ink acceleration again, and healing for Darkwing Ducks, or someone similar. Okay, we can banish it, dump it straight in the inkwell. With healing, that's pretty good. We'll get 12 uninkable though, so I don't think we want to play 4. Let's drop it to 2 and see what we think. Now, what was this? Does I mean to put that in there? Energy capture. Draw a card if a second card drawn. No, I didn't mean to put that in there. Definitely not. Okay, that can go. We don't care. And finally, the Thunder Quack. I love this thing. It just sounds so cool. Not a 4 of, though, I don't think. Inkable makes it decent. 11 against villains. That's nice with Cool Under Pressure, but he's the only one that cares about it. If characters banished to challenge to 10 game 1 lore. Again, I'd say maybe a couple. I think that's playable, but it'll sit in play all the time. So, yeah, I think 2 is probably the right call there. Oh, wow, 572. So there are some people seriously liking this card. Okay, so 17 items. Oh, because we've got that one Fortisphere. Oh, Fortisphere. Which way do we go with Fortisphere? Let's go up for now. Let's go up to 20, and then we can always cut down if we need to. Okay, 20 items. 4 actions. That would mean 36 other cards, and we've got 46. Okay, so, yep, there we go. 70 cards, 14 uninkable. Okay, that's doable. I'd like to drop a couple of uninkables if we could, because I tend to think 12 is about as high as I'm comfortable. I know you can play 14, you can play higher if you're going really aggro, but I just don't like doing it if I can avoid it. Should check the ink curve. So we're still spiking really hard at 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, and 6 all equal 4 cards each. But remember, the 6 drop is kind of a 4 drop. The 7 drop ideally is a 5 drop. So if we think of it as 16, 22, 16, 8, 8, that looks a little bit more balanced. Yeah, I don't think the ink curve's too bad, but we are going to need to try and cut some from this cheaper end. Okay, so 10 cards to go from the cheaper ones. Characters once more. Honker. Yeah, maybe we could drop him a bit. Or possibly, do we just drop Splatter Phoenix? Oh, I don't know. I like Splatter Phoenix. I like Ward, but the stat block is terrible. Yeah, let's drop him for now. I'm just not convinced he'll offer enough. Okay, so that gets us down to 8 cards need to go. Well, we're keeping every card named Darkwing Duck, pretty much. I don't see why we wouldn't. And that means that Honker is just good. I mean, imagine having him out and then banishing an item on this Darkwing. So Darkwing's powering around with resist 2. Or this guy smacking up all the villains with multiple tabs of resist on top. That could be really brutal. Okay, so we definitely want to keep Honker. We definitely want to keep Darkwing. Drake Mallard, well, it's mostly because you can shift onto him, isn't it? And Ward, until you can shift onto him, is really helpful because no one's going to get rid of him unexpectedly. And sometimes you just need 4 power. Knock down a location, trade up with something a lot bigger. I mean, if you traded this into Bell Accomplished Mystic, for example, you'd feel pretty good about yourself for that. I think he's worth it. He's a solid 2-drop. Launchpad, I love. Card draw is amazing. We keep Launchpad. Darkwing Duck 3, 2 forward rush. It's not amazing. It's the 2 power means it's not amazing. We haven't got any ways of boosting it. It's still not bad. And rush can just be so helpful. I think I keep it for now. She's not great, not by herself. But again, she's mostly in there for the shift, and we definitely want to be playing 4 copies of Macabre, the shifter, the big shifter, Reformed Spellcaster? Yeah, Reformed Spellcaster. So if we're going to play 4 of the 6 drop, we need to play 4 of the 3 drop. And everything I said about Darkwing, the 2 drop, goes doubly for this. A 5/3, she's big enough to take a hit or 2, and whatever she hits is probably going to get banished. So yeah, she's probably worth it. Let's keep her. Goslin Mallard. At the moment, we've got 20 items in the deck. So that means you should be hitting one of those every 3 cards. So Goslin, almost certain to hit an item at this point. Yeah, tutoring is good. We like tutoring. We keep her. Okay, back to Darkwing the Dashing Gadgeteer. Yeah, he's going to be a constructed powerhouse. No doubt about that. But is he worth it? A card on the bottom of your deck means it's pretty much gone because we don't have any way of shuffling the deck. So if you've played it, put it from your discard on the bottom of the deck, it's not coming back, realistically. But you get to play an item 5 or less for free. So what is there in here that we want to be playing for free out of the discard? Well, reusing blue smoke could be very useful. Drawing a second card or drawing another card's Fortisphere could be useful. Ink runners are great, but no one runs that much item destruction, and these things don't banish themselves, so I don't see us needing to drag that one back. Same with the Sapphire Coil. Same with the Thunderquack. I don't see many of them ending up in your discard. And if they do, you don't really need to play them for free. Darkwing's chair set. Okay, nice to bring it back, sure, but I'm gonna go for a hot take here. I think Darkwing Duck Gadgeteer goes. I don't think that's worth it. And when you consider the rest of the body, a 4-drop uninkable 3/5 with 1 lore, it's below cost. It's really below cost. When you think about things like the Scrooge McDuck Treasure Hunter, who's a 5/5 with 2 lore for 4 uninkable. That's so much better than Darkwing, ignoring the ability. And I don't think the ability is going to matter. So yeah, I'm doing it. I'm dropping Darkwing Duck. Let's go. So that still leaves us with 4, 8, 12, 16. So there's still 20 copies of Darkwing Duck. That's pretty good. I'm not worried about that. And that does really ease up the uninkable count. It's down to 10 now. Okay, that's a lot happier. I like that. And we are, just 4 cards over. Okay, let's see what we can tweak. So we want Dark Warrior, because he's good. We want Makorba because she's brilliant. And oh my good lord, Darkwing Duck Cool Under Pressure. I'm going to have to absolutely play this deck if I open 4 copies of Darkwing Duck. I'm going to do it. It'll be fun. Right, so 4 cards left to go. What do we cut? Okay, so in an ideal world, I play 4 copies of Big Darkwing Duck. In reality, I don't know if I own that many copies of him. Do I really see them? So let's drop 1 copy down to 3 on the assumption I'm probably not going to open 4 copies of him for a while. So he's playable, I think, at 3 instead of 4. So we need 3 cards to go. Right, Photosphere is card draw. Ink Runner is card draw. We want both of those. Blue Smoke. I'm much less worried about this now because we've got the inkable count right down. Chosen character gains ward, so when we really need to keep something alive, that's what we use. I think we keep all 4 copies of that. Sapphire Coil is just really good. I don't see why we don't want 4 copies of that. Do we want the healing? It's banishing the item on command. That's important. How many things can we banish? We can't banish the coil. We can't banish the Ink Runner. We can banish Photosphere. We can banish Blue Smoke. Cost 1 each time. Okay. And we care about that for Big Darkwing Duck doing damage. We care about it for resist on this Darkwing Duck. Now, if I sit here all night, we're not going to ever get to the end of the video, and it's getting on 40 minutes already. So, gonna have to cut this down somehow. Let's say 1 less copy of Sapphire, 1 less copy of Ink Runner, because they'll both do 1 copy of each of those will do their job. We don't necessarily need more. And that gets us down to 61. Yeah, let's do it. Let's stick with 61 cards. I think we can make that work. Up to you whether you'd like to maybe just nip something else out from there. But I think this is okay at 61 cards. So this is me, 61 card Darkwing Duck deck built in 3 colors, Amethyst, Sapphire, Steel, and using Lorcana specific cards because we're using Photosphere, we're using Ink Runner, we're using Sapphire Coil. Now, let's just go alternate for a second. Let's get our Darkwing Duck cards back again. Okay, there we go. I need to actually see the cards now. That would help. And we want Sapphire and Steel, pretty much. So let's say if we weren't using the Lorcana specific cards, so let's say that means we can't play Photosphere, we can't play Ink Runner, we can't play Sapphire Coil. That kills off 10 items. So let's drop those all out for a minute. Oh, bother. Oh, I'll save it again later. It'll be fine. Okay, so there we go. We're down to just Darkwing Duck. Now, let's go back. So there were options. So instead of Sapphire Coil, we can play Darkwing's Gas Device. Similar effect, not quite as good, but if we can't play the coil, we want to play, it was 3 copies, wasn't it? 3 copies of the Gas Device. What were the other ones? Oh, yes. And then we have the Infrared Ultra Scan. Oh, no, Infra-Pink Ultra Scan specs. Again, this plays a bit like Ink Runner. It's not as good because we've got the draw then discard, and we have to banish to get the alert, but it's not bad. It is certainly playable. So we'll pop 4 of those in because we can't use the Ink Runner, and that leaves us with now 15 items. And we've got what? 2 cards to spare. So probably maybe play another one of Darkwing's Chair. 11 uninkable, that's fine. And then either put back in that 4th copy of Cool Under Pressure if you want to, or probably up either Darkwing's Chair or Darkwing Gas Device. Let's go with the Chair, I think, because that gets banished. The Gas Device is going to stick. Okay, so that would be our deck with no Lorcana specific cards allowed. So not major changes, just the specs in for the Ink Runner, then the Gas Device for the coil, and then a couple more copies of the Chair, and then that balances out that 1 extra card we had. Okay, so we've dealt with the majority of the deck using Amethyst as our 3rd color. So let's just take those off. Let's see what other colors could we play. So there was no Amber whatsoever. We can ignore that then. So if we don't want the Amethyst, I think we're pretty tied in to Sapphire and Steel, but what could we do instead? So we could, again, go Emerald. We've got Stegma, the dinosaur. Yeah, potentially good. I mean, he might be quite expensive, but if we're not using the 4-cost Darkwing, he might get a lot cheaper. So there's potential there if you like that. Quite like the Retro Evolution device, because that gives us something to turn some of our cheaper 1 to 2 drop characters into something a bit bigger, though we don't have anything at 4 anymore, so maybe not. Still, a playable item, potentially. Maybe 1 or 2 copies. I do quite like the Ruby, though. Not fussed about Taurus. We've got him covered with Morgana. But if we're swapping Amethyst out, he'd be a like-for-like replacement, effectively 5/3 for a 5/3. It gives us Liquidator, who's going to be a really nasty 1-drop when he turns up. There he is. So he's a really nasty 1-drop, going to keep your opponents honest for a turn or 2, particularly if you're going second. I don't mind that. And then, of course, we've got Negaduck. So there's the 2-drop, just the 4/2. Probably swap out Drake Mallard for him, I think, if we were going to play Ruby. And then Public Enemy number 1. Now, he is pretty good. I do like him. So let's say we lose the Amethyst. That's going to take out 12 cards. So there we go. 4. And there we go. So that's that's all the Amethyst gone. We want to play 4 copies of Negaduck. Absolutely. 4 copies of the Shift. And then, how do we do this? I sort of feel like we need the 3-drop now. Maybe we need Taurus. So he's a like-for-like replacement. And then can we squeeze Liquidator in? Where would we squeeze Liquidator in? Maybe we could lose Honker? But he does do a lot of work. So I think maybe you drop 1 or 2 copies of Darkwing Duck, the Drake Mallard, and look to play a couple of copies of Liquidator. Maybe. Yeah, or maybe you just drop Taurus and play Liquidator instead, because you're getting a 4/2 1 turn early. He's got Reckless, but that's not terrible. Yeah, I think Liquidator is probably worth having, but I don't know exactly how we get it in there. Maybe we drop 1 copy of Honker, 1 copy of Taurus, 1 copy of Darkwing, and we run 3 copies of Liquidator. That would be reasonable, I think. Okay, I'll save that one as well. So this is going to be Darkwing Duck version 2. Don't have to put the colors on it because it will come up when I look at it in the deck itself. And this is, I don't know, combo probably? Yeah, I'll tag it as combo. Pretty mid-range. Not budget at all, but that's because all the cards are new. We don't know what the prices are going to be yet. It'll settle down, I think. Okay, so there we go. 2 versions of Darkwing Duck. I'm going to have to go back and fix up the first version I did, because, of course, I deleted all the cards a minute ago, but I'm sure we can do that. So I'll fix that one up and leave the link for it and the link for this one down below for you guys to have a look at if you want to. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you found it useful, then please do leave a comment down below and let me know how you've done with the deck. Otherwise, please like, review, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time for another Inkwell remix.